How do you know who you are?
What if I told you that thought could be controlled? What would you say to that?
And what would you do to find out?
So once these machines are injected, you are no longer in control of your life?
In a world that isn't what it seems.
If you are engaged, you are a slave.
This flash drive, what's on this?
That is our salvation.
A man must find his way through darkness.
Target located. Oh, shit.
From writer and director Aaron Carlson comes a groundbreaking audio series.
Now, see the full power of what we possess.
BCC Entertainment Group and the Around the Real podcast present
You stand. Rise.
Blackout, a sci-fi audio series.
Thought encompasses an aim-oriented flow of ideas and associations that can lead to a reality-oriented conclusion.
Follow and listen for free on your favorite podcast platform.
Well. Welcome.
All right. Well,
Brought
to you by Blackout.
Blackout. Come on. Did people know that we did an audio series called Blackout, which was promoted primarily by Around the Real? Do you guys think
Well, they certainly should now.
they should
Yeah.
fucking right?
Yeah.
And
Go listen to it. Probably in the same goddamn platform you're looking at this on.
goddamn right.
Yeah.
It's fun. Do you know that thing's got 20,000 plus listens right now on Spotify alone?
20,000 just on Spotify?
let's go.
I've heard if we get several billion, they'll pay us $1 whole.
I heard that. But I'm proud of it because it happened out of nowhere. Like when we
Oh,
put
no,
that,
it's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, we put it up a while ago and it didn't really, it got some listens, but not a lot. And then all of a sudden it just went, pew, and it took off. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
People are
starting
commenting on it.
People dig it
Uh-huh.
too. Like
Yeah.
the reviews have been kind.
Yeah. Because it's got conspiracies and stuff. People love that shit.
It's badass, honestly.
I think it's
I actually think 10,000 of those alone were RFK Jr.
I know.
Trying to figure out where is the Tylenol in this thing.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's
You got middle fan.
well.
That's remarkably good, Kelvin. I just want you to know that.
So how are you guys? How is everybody today?
Kicking along.
Kicking
Yeah.
along. Okay.
Yeah. I started my day with a beautiful quote that says, "Face your obstacles head on."
You know I like that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm a tampon.
It's
Nice.
I think
We need tampon quotes. And it's funny because apparently my wife was so kind as to tell me they've discontinued doing those quotes for the most part. But
Oh wow.
yeah, I was really bummed out. Apparently,
I didn't know.
wisdom,
I never knew they had them on there. Like when we had that show a few weeks back, I was just like, "What the fuck, really?"
that was new to me. But I was like, Kyra, did you know? I have wisdom in them their things.
Well, you can learn a lot from a vagina. Is all I'm saying.
You really can. I
Yeah,
mean, technically, we all learned everything we know by result of vagina. So
I think so too. I think so
Yeah.
too, and I think we keep on learning, don't we?
we really do.
Oh yeah.
Oh man! All right. Well, my day was good. Everything was great. Editing the movie's coming along fantastically, guys.
Which movie are you talking about, Aaron?
We're doing that fan film thing, the last one finally, before we go back to our original work, and I'm actually fucking proud of this thing.
Let's
yeah,
go.
me too. And I'm not even a fan film guy, but I've gained a respect for fan films. I mean,
And why? Why do you have a respect for it now and didn't before?
one, I still would rather make stuff that we can profit upon. But
Okay.
that said, being kind of pseudo-socialist, like the idea that it has to make money or has to be able to make money to be valid, I find to be pretty bullshit. And then two, as soon as I realized it's just an unauthorized sequel, that felt real punk rock.
Yeah.
But still, I would still rather make original content.
Yeah.
But
I think we all would. I think
more
we
of
all-
an ego thing, honestly. I feel
Yeah.
like if it goes really well, you're like, oh, people love the characters you already made. Oh, who knew? But if you do crazy shit with them like we did, you feel a little.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
fun. Go ahead.
I'm hesitant with fan films just because most of them are very amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been some
Yeah.
great ones though.
Yeah, and
There's
they're hard. Yeah, like that Mortal Kombat that ended up becoming a big thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
started
that was
as a fan film.
That was a good one. A few of the Friday.
Batman Dead End, or no, Batman, the one with the Predator.
Oh yeah, those guys.
That
do-
one was badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those.
Nice. And
great.
Nicolora.
Yeah, is that Bat in the Sun? I think those guys do a bunch of different little short fan films and stuff. If you follow those guys, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's the guys. But anyway, yeah. I never really thought of it as like a negative until I started hearing people bitching about fan films. But
And you mean me?
well, you're one.
Yeah, well.
But I owe everything to those films that we're celebrating almost. So, as a filmmaker, I found it kind of fun to come up with our original story, which we did.
Yeah.
Right. This Horrorverse is completely original. And it still feels just as creative as something that we would create outside of those IPs. But
Definitely.
Mhm.
we get to play with these action figures, and that's how it's fun to me. So I don't know, I kind of dig it, but as far as a 3-year jaunt on it, too long.
It would have been cool with the year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we literally have made 5 features in 3 years.
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
not too bad. So I'm fine with it. And
Well, like I said, it's something funny to me, like when people will be like, it's not a real film. And you're like, okay, so you mean if
right.
James Gunn, who I love, does the 7th version of Superman because they paid him to do that, that's somehow way more valid?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are fan films in a way.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really
yeah,
are. You're
exactly.
like, what
They
the fuck
really
do
are.
you think you are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But for what we were doing and building with our little small company that I really don't know how to manage, but I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Improper management's our style.
I think it was a really good move still because we've built a base audience for all of our work from here on out. And we have a monetized YouTube channel now, so I think that's great. So, if it took 3 years to do it, it took 3 years, but we have to finish it, and it's a great
I'm
ending.
proud of it. I'm proud of the work that we did. And it brought us together
Yes.
because
Many more.
I started working with you on those fan films. So I'll always have love for them.
Yeah, me too. But it's time to move on almost. So, speaking of moving on,
Yes, it is.
we've got some guests today.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh.
One of these guests has actually been working with us behind the scenes for quite a while. That's Riley Bartolomeo. He is a producer on a lot of our stuff, and he's a really cool guy. And today he's bringing Ricky Glore with us to talk about a few of the movies that Ricky's done. And these guys have been working together here for a little bit, so I think we should jump in there and get them in board and see who the fuck we're talking to. You want to see who these guys are? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Welcome to Around the Reel, everybody.
Welcome to Around the Reel with your host, Aaron Carlson, Steve Eaton, and Samantha Hanna. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
And Kelvin Galloza.
And Kelvin.
Thank you, Steve.
You're very welcome. I don't sound anything like Eva.
We will definitely make sure to get that changed here soon, Kelvin. So I'm so sorry. Yeah, especially with Samantha not even here. You know what I mean?
Riley, Ricky,
Hey,
you're
guys.
here.
666.
What's
What is happening, fellas? How are you this evening?
Oh my gosh. Can I'm sorry. I've been listening for a while,
Good.
but I want to say that Steve, you have finally talked me into Riley and I think just had this conversation recently
Yesterday.
about fan films and getting funding. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a great way to guarantee that you're going to get somebody's eyeballs on your things because it's existing IP, right? I mean, they're doing it within their own, like the people who own it, like Ghostbusters, Marvel, like whatever. They're
Correct.
swallowing their own tail.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You will hear plenty of podcasts where I would rail against Never Hike Alone because I'm like, great, it's the best Friday the 13th movie. what does that mean?
Right.
Like, the Friday the 13th series not that good? Like, that's what that means. But
Yeah.
like, people have asked me, they're like, okay, Ricky, hypothetical, if you were given a franchise, what would you do? Would you do Elm Street? And I'm like, no, it's my favorite. Like, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I have ideas. I don't find it sacred. I don't know how I would execute any better than, gosh, the 2010. And I know that's crazy to say.
Oh, I get it.
Someone today was just referencing The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss and spoiler, the knife scene with her sister. Restaurant. I said it wasn't as effective to me because I had seen the 2010. This is the only time I've ever referenced the 2010 Elm Street. The 2010 Elm Street, where it was a reshoot scene where the cold opening kill for Freddy was he makes the kid in the Craven diner cut his own throat with a steak knife.
Yeah,
and I remember I saw that for the first time and I was like, holy shit, this might be a really good fucking movie.
Right.
It ended up not.
You're like, great scene. Never mind. Okay, great scene.
Yeah, but again, like I'm an Elm Street person. The one series, because I feel I'm also kind of this filmmaker in spirit in a lot of ways, is I would do a tackle at making a mini series out of Phantasm and really lean into the
fucking fantastic.
Wicked This Way Come.
Yes.
I've had my experience with Don talking to him about the series. We had an old podcast we used to do, which I don't think you can find anymore. We had David Hartman to talk Phantasm 5, which was really hard because I had very strong opinions about Phantasm 5. And I was like, how do you not lose a guest while you're interviewing them?
That's
Don't shit on their work. That's
it's hard. Here's the thing is, I will say this, and we have resolved this since. When you're younger and you think you have opinions, they don't always need to be shared. I had that same podcast. We had the exclusive chance to watch a work print of Secret Santa, Adam Marcus's film, who wrote and directed Jason Goes to Hell. Him and his wife did Texas Chainsaw. I think not the beginning, but the one with Daddario.
I know the one you're talking about. I forgot. I lost track of him too. It's
the Do Your Thing, Cuz.
Yep.
Yeah. So we watched Secret Santa, and then we did a podcast where we kind of shit on it. And then he was like, hey man, I didn't need to send you that work print. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And Adam has been such a good friend. Like Victor Miller, we had on the pod. Again, I hate pimping a podcast you can't listen to anymore because I don't think
keep talking.
And I will stop driving this podcast as well. Riley knows I can talk for days.
It's your show, bro. You're good.
Lloyd Kaufman of Northern Kentucky. But we had Victor Miller on our podcast, and he admitted that he had never seen a Friday the 13th sequel. So we shot our shot and we were like, would you like to come on as a future guest? I will send you the synopses of the episodes of the movies we haven't done yet. You pick which one you think sounds the most interesting. He said yes on air. And we were like, this is amazing. Like, oh my God. And then he replied to the email and he was like, this Jason Goes to Hell sounds interesting. Sounds like they may have ripped off some of my origin story of Jason. Anything Phantasm right up my alley. Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's Roberts.
Sorry,
I didn't ask if we could curse, and I'm just freely doing
I think we ripped out Band-Aid off quite quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can fucking say whatever you want. But 6 years. It's our 6th season. You're good. We've dropped enough F-bombs to sink a battleship, so we're fine.
Possibly today.
Stone Rippers would be crack.
Right.
So I'll wrap it all up. Adam Marcus ended up being we got him because Victor Miller was on our episode reviewing Jason Goes to Hell, and he just loved it. He just loved the hell out of all the lore, out of all the things. He pointed out some of the things he had come up with, and because he's also was embroiled in that court battle with Sean Cunningham, who we've now has found out is what a fucking douchebag,
dude. Big time.
Man, what a guy! Not like not like a producer that wants to see your thing come to life.
Right.
Riley's not like, I'm seeing the dollar signs. We have no dollar signs. So anyway, I'll wrap it up. Adam Marcus comes on as an episode for the Friday the 13th series we were doing because Victor Miller gave a favorable review to Jason Goes to Hell. And Marcus was like, I don't want to come on your show just for a hit job. And like, which I end up doing to him. I feel awful for, because him and his wife, Deborah, are fantastic people and have supported us wholeheartedly through everything we've done. But he came onto our show, and he was the first time that he had ever given the information that Jason Goes to Hell does have the Necronomicon, and he had asked Sam Raimi to use it, and Jason is a Deadite. The first time he had broke that was on our show, and I think that's part of his Wikipedia page. And that's the last remaining thing of Cinematose Crunchcast, the show me and Mike Flincham used to do. I hand the show over to you guys. I'm so sorry.
I got to be honest. I think Jason Goes to Hell was, I mean, not to go ahead and run off on that now, but Jason Goes to Hell was the first one I had ever seen. I saw it in the theater. And I enjoyed the living shit out of it. It was fucking crazy.
It's fun.
And then the two movies that I like most, and if you're a big Jason fan, please click out now. Or don't at me, whatever that is, because I'm 45.
Mine's part 5, which is real divisive.
That is divisive.
It's a sweaty Jason movie that like plays like the horniest, like non-porn that just like wants to fuck. Like that movie.
All right, I'm in. I got to watch that one now. Great.
Oh my god. It's such an enjoyable watch. Watch it with a group of friends.
Yeah, it's kind of like Nightmare 2, Steve, you know, where it's got a really gay kind of vibe to it.
Okay, now I'm definitely in.
Yeah, all right. It's got some stuff to it. But
And that's me recommending a Friday the 13th movie, which I think people look at those movies with rose-tinted glasses and think of iconography that doesn't ever exist. Like the amount of TNA you think are in those movies, there's not.
There isn't. I know.
The amount of gore that you think are in those movies,
it's not. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. It's not even fucking bloody.
It's implied. In which, I mean, Toby Hooper, man, very similar with visuals, with like the long hallway and the lighting and the silver. Don Coscarelli, again, bring back to Phantasm. Him and Toby Hooper, I think, were both inspired by Argento, which I know Coscarelli had mentioned he had seen Suspiria and had seen Argento things. Gosh, we're really opening. We're just internationalizing this.
I love how cinematic this is going.
Yes. So Riley and I will do this, where we'll text each other movies. One that I want to throw up, Riley, and then I will hand over the conch to wherever this is going. Have you ever seen Paul Schrader's written and directed Light Sleeper?
I have not. I had the pleasure or displeasure, depending on one's position, of meeting Paul, but I have not seen that. He was still pissed that Spielberg never paid him for his draft of Close Encounters.
Oh shit!
I believe
Paul
that.
Schrader is a tough customer. He hates all of the endings of his movies. So like Rolling Thunder, Taxi Driver, American Gigolo. He hates all the endings because that's not the harsh ending. Gosh, what's the De Palma one? Is it
not Body Double? Wait,
no. It's with Cliff Robertson.
Oh, the Hitchcock remake. Obsession, was that the name of it?
Obsession, yes. It's very Vertigo. But I mean, that's De Palma. De Palma's
I love you too. I just want you to know that.
They're the best. We're talking about
crib. But this is what we do. So like,
I know.
We were talking about another script that I was writing, and Riley's just like, do you know Ace in the Hole? I was like, yeah, I do. I was like, this is definitely Ace in the Hole. Like, this is inspired by, and I just watched, was it a gunfight or a gunfighter with
Gregory
Kirk
Peck.
Douglas and Johnny Cash? No.
Oh, I've seen that years ago with my dad. I remember that.
It's been a long time, but that's a deep cut.
I just watched it with my dad this past weekend.
Oh wow!
And
You gotta
he
like
introduced
have
it
to bring
me.
your dad in. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great dad movie because it is. And my dad was one of those, like, anything that I know about film kind of came from him by proxy, or my brother who graduated in 1999. So he came home from college and he wasn't out of the closet yet, but he gave me 2 movies. One was Chasing Amy and Dogma. And Chasing Amy, he's like, one day I think you'll like this. And then he handed me Dogma. And he's like, I think you'll like this now. So like my dad introduced me to movies and film and pop culture and television stuff like Wild Wild West, A Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Avengers with Patrick McNee, Diana Rigg, like The Prisoner, all that shit influences so much of The Monkees, fucking the movie Head has influenced so much more than anybody will ever know. Like if you did like is that a reference to Head? I'd be like, sure is. Like that's no homage. But okay, I hand it back over. I am so sorry. You guys run your show.
So,
beautiful thing, Ricky. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead, Steve. Go.
Oh, I was going to say we now need to just go. Who the fuck are you? No, but specifically, I think we're talking about a film that you guys is it completely ready to go? But we usually will go with a little bit of history. But Riley, just because you've been a bit on the silent side, thank you so much for all that you've contributed to our films. But who are you, and what do you do?
Yeah, man.
I'm a Turner Classic Movie addict. No. Yeah. And make quits, please. No. But I
have a tattoo that says I love Ben Mankiewicz.
Or Alicia Malone. No. But I love producing. My kind of day job is I produce news, which, as you can imagine in this moment, is very crazy.
I wonder why.
And yeah, coffee does wonders. And then kind of outside of that, I got my start originally as a film student. At that point was the 3rd graduating film class at Wagner College in New York City. And really kind of, I spent so many hours at MoMA at their amazing cinema, and just learning and meeting all these great, whether it was underground people like Barbara Hammer and the recently dead Ken Jones to kind of from as Schrader, but I really came attached, really loved the Cassavetes kind of approach of grab that camera, lack of funding, take the bigger studio work or other work, right, to pay for your passion projects. And kind of after college, I got my start as an editor, cutting commercials for our current governor here in Connecticut back in 2018, and then some work with the census and nonprofits, and then ended up kind of in producing and loving it. And besides both Ricky and KY Films and CCC stuff, I also have been starting to venture more into the international stuff with one British film, hopefully, well, most likely coming out sometime next year, called Snapshot, which is all about kind of the Jack the Ripper murders, and it was shot on a 1:1 aspect ratio.
Oh,
shit!
Wow.
The original.
So that's for Instagram, right? That's not. Fair.
And then and it was
look, Steve. Yeah. I said Nick Hyance and I, co-founder of KY Films. That was one of the things we said about Clerks 3 when it came out. We were like, we know it was shot during COVID, but it almost looked like it was shot for TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Horizontal videos.
Not to interrupt Riley really quick, but since we're in that topic, I know that a big studio, Paramount, I believe, just bought spots on the little app called My Drama, and they're investing, I think it's like $3 billion into making 1-minute short dramas for the app, and it's all vertical. Anyways, back to you, Riley.
There's a part of me that really wants to try that. Like I've got no, but that's the thing. If you can, dude, I bet you fucking could.
So the one I
I'm
guess.
so sorry, Riley.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the one I guess I'll explain further. It's shot to look like the original Kodak cameras from the late 1800s.
Okay.
So it's
Badass.
that circular. Yeah, it's this wonderful duo of British filmmakers, Joseph Archer and Kathy Whipple, and you can Google their company, Silicon Gothic. They're doing really dynamic stuff over in Britain. And then I have the second film with this Japanese filmmaker, Ashuti Funahashi, who had films in Berlin and TIFF and whatever. And we're very close on this film, which I know I mentioned to Aaron before, brief kind of stuff about it, but it's this Taiwan, Polish, Japan co-production. And so we're getting very close to hopefully announcing that once the production starts sometime early next year. But it's been a fun time messaging agents and getting contract stuff.
That's so awesome.
fantastic.
Congratulations.
I love
need
how eclectic you are, Riley.
You know what I
I
mean?
know.
So Riley, how do you come about finding filmmakers? Like, how did you find CCC, or how do you find, an international filmmaker and then go, oh, I like his work, I want to try to help him make this? What's your process?
So I'm a big fan of research. So I'll say, and I know I've said this before when it came to Finding Ricky. So I was reading Oliver Stone's phenomenal book, if you have not read it yet, called Chasing the Light. And it's all about his early days of filmmaking. And it starts with his kind of adolescence age, just watching films, and it ends when Platoon wins Best Picture.
Okay.
But while I was reading that, right, and it's talking about him just trying to make his small little indie films, there was a chapter on trauma. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right? And then somehow I saw Ricky's Sweetmeat stuff. And then immediately, and it's funny because it always happens with the long, and there is the great Peter Anthony, who does actually have a part in the story leading into how I found CCC. Yes, laugh coming out soon. But was one of those, I read that and then came across Ricky's thing, and as very common with a long Italian last name, people get it wrong all the time. No worries. It's Ricky. I was like, I think you got my name wrong here. And then it started this entire thing.
Wait. Do I pronounce it right now?
No, you got it right.
Is it Bartolomeo?
You forgot one of the letters in the
Bartolomeo.
Is it, I want to know. Is it Mayo? Is it like Richard Gere, Gentleman, or what? Like, what's going on?
Well, depending on what side of the family, it's a different pronunciation. So
I say Bartolomeo.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Yeah.
So some are like that, where it's Bartolomeo, where you kind of go up. Others say Bartolomeo. There's a very different thing, but it all kind of started because when my, I guess, great grandparents and their generation cousins came in from this tiny mountain village called Bracciano up in Abruzzo. It was originally Di Bartolomeo, but they cut off the DI and never went back to be like, let's put it back. And so, it's fine. But then
Ellis Island was real good for that. They're like, we don't need those letters. Get on.
They're like, look, you know what we got a lot here? Time.
Right.
Well, that for me, person I
Keep
cannot
it moving.
understand. What? Nope.
Oh yeah, which if there's a really good film about Ellis Island, highly recommend The Gold Door. It's this Italian film, Scorsese, produced and distributed. Very hard to find nowadays. Totally worth watching though. But how it led me CCC was actually through Peter Anthony, knowing he was in one of your projects, and then I saw it come up, and I was like, oh, let me reach out, and it's been phenomenal. And then with the international stuff, similar approach, where with this Japanese filmmaker, I was helping get his last film, Burden of the Past, into theaters, but it was only in Japan, and it's actually currently only streaming on Hulu in Japan and no other territory. Hulu.
Wow.
But that then kind of led to this next project, and then with the Silicon Gothic, they found me out of nowhere, and then that led to meetings and whatever else.
All right.
Nice.
Well, we are so happy to have you, man.
Yeah, bro.
Really, truly. Thank you for being a part of our puzzle.
Yeah, and Peter Anthony's the man, and thank you, Peter, for introducing us to Riley.
Peter, it's good to see you.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck how you think of whoever, whatever, but it's good to see you.
Oh. Oh, you know what? Everybody is great. We all have so many different people out there that are doing what we're doing, you guys, and making stuff on. I don't give a fuck what level it is. I just appreciate the effort and the passion that people have to create stuff, and then you go out and you start making stuff like we have, or all these other filmmakers, and then people like Riley show up.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? Thanks, man. And I honestly don't know what to say sometimes to someone like that, because for him to even back something you're doing or even acknowledge that you exist and the work you're creating is magical to me.
Like even a compliment,
I agree.
like on some of your work, you're just like,
yeah.
Well, thank you. Are we friends now? Do we go hang out now? I don't know how to take that.
I know, but I mean,
Riley drove us around at Turbo Dance last year, like a year and a month ago, from one part of Brooklyn to another part of Brooklyn. New York. I lived in Chicago.
Okay.
New York makes no sense to me. Like, I do not understand the running of it. It's not the grid system that I understand in Chicago.
Sure.
But like Riley, having produced Coming on Board for Sweetmeats, took us to Troma Dance and drove a bunch of strangers, me, Nick Raystone, Nick Hyance, and his wife Kelsey, meeting us for the first time at one of my stand-up shows. And then we go to this like punk rock bar with like strippers just like on the this music.
Wow.
Perfect time. Although I'll say Nick drove. I was more the like tour guide who's like, put your hands.
You obviously
Yeah.
weren't part of
Yeah.
it, Riley. Don't worry. We're not telling your mom. You're good.
Well, shit, I want to go. God damn it.
I know, me
Yeah,
too.
Riley was.
I'm good. I'll hang with Riley outside.
I mean,
We'll talk
it's-
films.
Do you like IPAs?
Yeah.
He was such a comrade, like in arms in that moment, because I feel like, I mean, Riley, you can speak to your own experience, but I felt a little ugly duckling at Troma Dance. Like, but maybe that was like self-imposed, like duckyism of like pretty like, I don't know, like, but I was just like, oh, they're not going to show our movie until like midnight. Like, huh? Like,
I worked at Troma Dance though.
I don't think any of these people are going to be here. Like,
Yeah.
the way that these people are going right now for these short films and these quick ins and outs, I don't think they're going to be in for whatever. I can't even remember how long Sweetmeats is. 104 minutes.
Musical, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty heavy in dialogue. I don't think they're going to be into this. But Riley was so supportive of Just to Be in Hyance, who were in that element, kind of being time travelers earlier in the night, being like, oh, we're here and it's 6:00 and our movie doesn't play until 12:30 if it's on time. And like, this isn't gonna be good. Like, this is not gonna be like, there's just not gonna be anybody here. That's what's gonna be bad about it. And we're supposed to do a Q&A afterwards. Lloyd is here. Okay,
Wow.
Lloyd just left. He just said, I'm sorry, but I just got filming the last day on my movie, Power of Positive Murder. I have to leave. Good luck on your film. And it's like, okay, bye. What are we gonna do? Riley was just like,
He had your back.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
just like, it's
He has
gonna be
your
a good
fucking
movie. Like, let's do around the shots. Like
Mhm.
you guys get to watch it, take it in, whatever.
Mhm.
I will say, to Hyance's credit, he watched the whole movie, and then afterwards he came to me and he's like, I'm leaving. And I was like, yep, you go. Like,
That's it, huh?
like,
Yeah.
yep, that's good. And then I went up there and did with Zach a Q&A to like 5 people, and I think Riley was 2 of those people.
That's badass though. Riley, hey,
It was also close to 2 a.m., so that is totally possible.
Yeah.
Wasn't your fault. Wasn't
And you
your
asked
fault.
questions. Like, that was the best part. I was like, thank you. Because if I'm going to be up here, and this is sad, like I'm in New York City. But then, again, Riley, Nick Greystone, you guys, you were so supportive of people you didn't even know. And that just speaks volumes to, I know Nick Greystone and his involvement with the Forest Hills and so many other projects, you and everything that was mentioned tonight. Like, you are the champions of the new wave of what I'm hoping is the next renaissance of indie film. But I just don't know what it's going to look like to see the films. That's the big question. I think Riley and I have had of just like, we got to make them first. And then let's see, like, where does it, like, what do we think is the best plans? Like, do we road show it or, but
I feel like that Cassavetes
Yeah.
model, oddly enough, like it's funny. I haven't thought of John Cassavetes in years, my fault. But I feel like that kind of model where you're like, you make the films you want to make for the budgets that you can get for them. And then you hope. Now, it was a little easier and harder in their time, because you could only get shown so many places. But it's like the Tubi kind of model where you're like, look, the people who could find it will hopefully find it, and then you hope to God for real organic word of mouth.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I completely agree with that model, and it's worked for us so far. And it's a slow chug. You know what I mean? It's not
with
something.
not a lot of money.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But at the same time,
slow chug. Can I pitch a movie?
please.
It's
Definitely.
a ambiguous late 70s Smokey and the Bandit ripoff.
I'm in.
There's that one Kenny Rogers one where he's like an old alcoholic and he's
With the
got
kids?
Bad News Bears, but for driving. Like,
Yeah, with driving.
And it's just like, oh, you're gonna do drinking and like this is pre Mighty Ducks where Bombay is an alcoholic and has to do.
Now you got me on that movie because I fucking love that Kenny Rogers movie. What the
I
hell?
think you need Ron White to get a phone call. I'm, just saying, like, I'm in all the way through.
I will. Will Sasso, who did an amazing Kenny Rogers on Mad TV, have him be his Kenny Rogers character, and it's called Slow Chug.
Slow chug.
And it is this like
Slow chug.
I'm in.
creative,
I'm in.
Like maybe he drives a Zamboni or something. I don't know. Like,
No, he
that's where we're
definitely
starting.
rides a Zamboni. Yeah, that.
come on, Phoebe, slow chug. Like, I'm pretty sure that was his Kenny Rogers impression.
Yeah. Which is too the interesting thing, jumping off kind of Ricky's point too, of especially with not only Sweetmeats, which there'll be more info on that streaming soon, Blu-ray soon.
No, announce it.
Oh, we can officially announce?
Go. Talk about your shit.
Oh. Look,
Exclusive,
I'm not gonna
non-exclusive
crap.
announcement coming.
I'm not gonna crap on Troma.
I'm glad it's not embargoed, as they say in the newsroom.
I text. So one of our other producers, Amy Hasselbrock, who's one of the lead producers with executive producers with Riley, who's local to me and who does amazing press work with us so far. She was just like, when is Sweetmeats going to be streaming?
Okay.
That would be a great thing to tie into the current campaign that we have for the new films that we'll talk about here soon. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I know they're working on a Blu-ray. We sent them some exclusive things because that's one of the things we do for our crowdfunding things. We give an exclusive Blu-ray that we put together that will have things that no matter who buys us or whatever, it's not going to appear anywhere else. We've done that twice with All Your Friends Are Dead and Sweetmeats. Doesn't mean they're good commentaries or exclusive things. Just they're exclusive. But so we've sent in stuff with the cast, with Timmy and Eileen, and some interviews with Hyance and stuff, just for the Troma Blu-ray. And I've seen the menu screen and it looks awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Cool.
But this all comes to when it was like, when is it going to be on Troma now? When is it going to be streaming? And I text Andrew, who's Lloyd's current assistant, and I was just like, hey, just curious, any timeline for streaming, physical release, anything? And he was just like, oh, it's really whenever you want. I was just like, is Thanksgiving too soon? Because I was like, we can really play on the idea of family and cannibalism and like.
If that is not though the most trauma thing you could ever
Yeah,
possibly
it is.
hear.
And they never
Exactly.
lied about it. That is what they bought. Like they have been that on face value. And it's what's great and that's what's terrible.
Yeah,
But
you're like, oh shit, that's not up there already. Hold on one sec, Ricky.
so I was like, well, okay, so here's what we would like to do. We would like to like announce this with our benefit in a collaboration of pushing forward the next thing we're doing, right? Just business sense. Riley was like, yeah, this would be a great way to get. So our next couple movies aren't horror technically. So if we could do a press release with some horror publications that have been kind to us, like Giallo Julian on Dread Central, he's like, I can't really run a piece on Dread Central about a Rockford Files detective comedy
Rockford
and like Pretty in Pink, like if Molly Ringwald had come from a death cult, like was the last surviving member.
All right.
Like, so like, he's like, that's close, but he's like, we can't do a story about that. So then with this idea that, welcome Amanda Carter. Thank you for coming. You don't have to apologize for being late. You came to the party.
She's here.
Hi,
Yeah,
Amanda.
you're here. But so with this announcement, the thing that does behoove us in the way that Trauma does work, luckily when I was like, can you do Thanksgiving? They're like, yeah. Like,
Sure.
yeah, it's not planned. Like, we ain't got no plans anyway. Like,
Right.
So with Daniel Blake, the new graphic designer, him and I, we went back and forth with a couple of fun announcements, which I will send to you via email, or I'll send to Riley to shoot you guys' way. You can have the exclusive run of, it's going to be on Thanksgiving. Sweetmeats is on Troma Now. Any app that has Troma Now, it's free the first month.
Okay.
This is I will do much more shilling, I'm sure, for Troma Now in the next year than I've ever done.
I actually didn't even know Trauma Now was a thing.
I didn't know either.
And I'm a Trauma fan.
That's
Like-
one of my questions here, because I mean, Troma's a big deal, dude. That's
Dude.
like been around forever. I remember seeing Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High when I was a kid back in the day, and just was like, what the fuck? These are so crazy.
Yeah.
This is not like I just watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. What the fuck am I watching right now? This is fucking.
Is this Alan Quartermain? What is this like weird knockoff like Richard Chamberlain, Indiana Jones?
Yeah, it's a huge
See,
deal.
Riley, see, I knew Riley
That
would
was a
fucking
good
know
one.
that reference.
It's good. It's good. But let me ask you guys, how did you guys get hooked up with Troma? How did that happen? How did this come to life for Sweetmeats? And I love saying Sweetmeats, by the way. I just love
it is fun. Get your sweetmeats on Thanksgiving.
it. Actually kind of turns me on a little bit. I don't know what. I'm not like that, but it just reminds me of like fun.
Get it.
Yeah.
Sweetmeats. It reminds you of fun. I mean, I agree. So Troma comes about because, and I think Riley knows this a little bit. I will jump us to getting attached to Troma. Riley kind of just said him looking up a Troma thing, like kind of connected to Sweetmeats, because once Troma came on board, that's how Riley saw us. But we were trying to, after All Your Friends Are Dead, our first movie that we made for under $6,000.
Good for you, badass.
Which I just heard on a podcast that I was on. A husband and wife couple were just like, "Oh, you can't make the Robert Rodriguez $7,000 movie anymore." I'm just
That's
like,
all we make now.
It's
I'm like,
I know, right?
you
It's,
made one for. I mean, like, there's mistakes. Like, I will
sure.
happily
Yeah.
own up to, but we made one for $5,959. Like,
Mhm.
and it is a cohesive. Like,
Yeah.
it plays fine. Like, there's again.
I feel like
I'm sure
that's
not
actually
one-
98% of the films that get made nowadays are the $7,000 movie. And that's without like recession and inflation. You know? That's 2025 $7,000 movie.
No, I mean, honestly, the amount of money that you make on a crowdfunding campaign or the budget you have, if it's super small, is just feeding people. I swear to God.
If it's an original, shit.
Oh, and that's what we're doing, like with this like the first movie that we're doing, where we're like, we're going to do this model of we're going to pitch 2 movies in 1 year. The first movie is going to be kind of based off the budget of our first movie, which was All Your Friends Are Dead. And then the second movie's kind of like Sweetmeats, except for double Sweetmeats, because it's a full-on musical. It's not just a diegetic like Phantom of the Paradise performances or Head performances. Nice. It's going to be Pretty in Pink, but it's musical, like High School the Musical breakout performances,
and we have
with also a death cult. Sorry, yes,
yeah. With a death cult.
With a death cult too.
I'm in all day.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
I didn't answer. Troma came on board because 2 weeks before filming, we had been trying to make, after All Your Friends Are Dead, a movie called Open House, which we were like, okay, All Your Friends Are Dead. We paid a lot to get into festivals and didn't get in the horror festivals because the criticism was your movie's too much of a comedy. All Your Friends Are Dead, now on Tubi, currently, I believe, through SRS, while that contract exists. It could stay on Tubi in perpetuity. I do not care. If there's a place where it can live that people can watch it and it looks good, hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
No shitting on Tubi. But we made that movie so cheap that we were like, okay, we're getting slagged for it being a comedy at these horror fests. That's how we're getting knocked out of them. Port of Fear, which was the first year they had done it in Wisconsin. All Your Friends Are Dead. That was the first movie that they accepted, and they loved it. I got a message that was just like, so funny, works for us, blah, blah, blah. Flash forward, Sweetmeats just won Port of Fear's festival for best horror movie, not horror comedy, just best horror feature.
Nice.
Crazy. It's our first award. I know it's a tiny thing, but like we get a physical little award, and that's nice.
Yeah. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, we'll share, like every, like Riley will get it for a week and a half and he'll send it back. Amy will.
You're not just going to cast it and make a shitty 3D print for everybody. Yeah.
But so after All Your Friends Are Dead, we were like, okay, whatever we do next, we were going to put it on Front Street, our unique take on the thing. So if All Your Friends Are Dead was our version of The Breakfast Club turns into the big chill and goes on a Friday the 13th camping trip, we're going to do our version of whatever we do next, and that's Open House. It's gonna be this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, just weird movie that's this musical, but it's about these realtors that kidnap people seeing these houses, and they subject them to watching them workshop their shitty off-Broadway musical about Adam and Eve. And then inadvertently they cut them up and they put them in a bucket that has a Sweetmeats logo on it,
as you do.
That lived in the world. And I was like, okay, we're gonna make this movie, we're gonna put it on Front Street. This is a horror comedy musical. It's this meets this meets this. Edgar Wright retweeted it, Roger Avery retweeted it. Wow. We had some Mike Flanagan, who gave $500 to All Your Friends Are Dead. He shared it. Wow. He's just like, yep, this is the kind of thing you guys should be supporting. And you're just like, oh man, this is awesome. Here comes that $10,000.
Right.
We picked Kickstarter because we thought that would be more prestigious than Indiegogo, where you get all your funds.
Yeah. Didn't work out.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Raised like 6,000 something and whatever changed, and like had to call everybody 2 weeks before we started pre-production, and just like we didn't get the budget.
Yeah,
like I'm sorry. It was after my daughter's like dance recital. I had to break off from like the family out at a restaurant, and I was just like, I have to let everyone know that this is not a thing that is happening. Like I feel so bad. Flash forward to that, we pivoted real quick. Ty West did Sweetmeats, a little thing that existed in Open House, and then we made a whole thing based off of that, based off of restaurant location that we had. We leaned into a couple already other ideas that I had. This thing called Fleetwood Macbeth that I did in Chicago, which was Macbeth at a 70s radio disc, like a radio station about disc jockeys. and we made sweetmeats. And then I reached out to Lloyd via Twitter. I was like, "Hey, I would love if you could retweet this campaign. You know, we're just trying to make things like what Lloyd makes movies." And he is like, "Fantoxic! I happily. Is there a part for me in it?" And I was like,
Now.
"There sure is." Clickety clackety is the writer, director, producer, star of, like, yep, Lloyd Duckwood, vacuum salesman in this weird Twin Peaksian like area that I'm like creating. Like, yep. And at one point there was competing commercials. He was Lloyd Duckwood, the vacuum salesman. There were going to be other commercials that appeared as runners that were a carpet salesman that was going to be played by Mickey Dolenz.
Okay.
That I could never secure.
Oh.
But would have been such a weird. It would have made the movie not better, just a little weird.
Here's the genuine question. And like when I watched the film, and I did not finish it, I'm so sorry. I'm a nurse in my day job, and it was like literally between appointments. I was like, okay, but when I saw Trauma Films come up, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's got to be a bucket list point for
it. Is that's a huge deal, Ricky. I think that's a success in and of itself for the struggle you went through to get a movie made, and you also made the fucking movie, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, most people fucking don't do it. They don't finish something. They just don't.
No.
I mentioned the Adam Marcus thing earlier, and that's this is the first time that I've ever talked about that. I think publicly, because we pulled down the episode after the fact. Is Mike Flincham and I? We weren't doing we need to have a movie review podcast by two middle-aged white guys, like saying that we weren't like, people need to hear our opinions. It's just
you can just say podcast at that point.
Yeah, we just dramatized our, like, we played roles, like we were a little bit of smart guy, dumb guy. Like we had our kind of personas, and we have been friends since we were kids. He is the grandson of Bobby Mackey's. That's why Bobby Mackey's is such a prevalent role in Sweetmeats. And a lot of that story is based off his grandfather's kind of story in the country music world. But him and I were starting to create these characters that had strong opinions about things like the Friday the 13th series. And then after the Adam Marcus thing, we were like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. We just want to, if we do a movie podcast, it's going to be like called, Hey, you made a movie. And it's just going to be like, no matter what, like, who cares if like they didn't like blah, blah, blah. But like, here's this one review from this person that we found on blah, blah, like whatever, Amazon, Reddit or whatever, who said this movie changed their life and it reminded them of this. Like, just remember, you made a movie and that's amazing. Like,
yes.
I also, in my old age of now turning 40, have gone the other way of being like, and I know everybody does, Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, everybody's just like, there's nothing gained out of shitting on anything current.
No.
Like, and there really isn't.
I agree.
There absolutely isn't.
Now, Riley, what do you hate that is in cinemas right now?
Well, I always say at least it employs people.
Yeah.
For the audience out there too. Well, my mom was a state senator, so the politician kind of comes in. But but also support your states to develop very good film tax credits so that you can make films no matter where you want, and you're also competing also too internationally, right? So like Japan has a 50% tax rebate on their films.
You know, I really where do they have a 50%?
Japan. And then
fucking Pan. God damn it.
And then And then,
well, you know what? I feel like a big part of it is that, like in Washington, for example, they just really, they got bug up their butt to actually do it. Well, I'm okay. I'm going there right here.
I know.
So it's like it's that whole you have to have money to make money, and I'm like, I would love to see one state decide to do almost a WPA era kind of like, look, we're not going to give $1 million to people who already have $1 million. We're going to do $50,000 to people who,
Steve, you were saying so many things. The fan film thing. Eric Hunter, friend that I went to first grade with, who's the co-author on the two movies, Casually Cool and Truly Trudy, for the campaign that we're running. He has brought up numerous times. He's like, why? So like, there's Neon, there's A24, there's Blumhouse that are now becoming the things that they were against. Kind of, they are becoming the two-headed beast.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but like they are becoming the big corporations, the studios.
A victim of their own success.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Eric Hunter keeps on saying, he's like, where is the conglomerate that is funding $50,000 movies?
That's
like
what
$50,000 movies in 1 year.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, so a bunch of them are going to not be good. If you did it as a state, for example, Riley, you're like, okay, so if you get 2 filmmakers out of the 70 that you throw 50 grand, and you're not a state senator, so I'm not, really talking to you. But
Not yet. When he does, I will speak at a stump speech if he'll have me. He's like, no, that's the guy that started a movie with a giant turd. Like, I'm not having that guy.
I can't
ever,
have
like,
trauma anywhere near my campaign.
Yeah. Non-classy trauma.
But yeah, it would be great if they just went like, okay, so you get something, it's like New Zealand, for example. You're like, we can come up with one fucking Peter Jackson out of 70 filmmakers who make shit. You still get Peter Jackson. Like you still get somebody who wouldn't have been able to make a goddamn thing if they hadn't had your 50 grand, and they're going to be loyal to your state. I mean, as a rule.
But that is Spike Lee. That is Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That is Kevin. That is showing that like where we're at now. Use the benefits of how easy it is to make a movie regionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Use what you have. Like if you're not in New York, if you're not in LA, you're like, oh no, but I'm not in Atlanta. Like that's awesome. Shit will be given to you for free when you ask for it, because they'll love the glitz and the glamour or the passion of someone going, I'm making a movie. And you go to your local pizzeria or whatever, and you go to this place or whatever, and you start shot listing and you start going like, oh, well, maybe the story's this. I hate to say this because I know most young people think they don't have a story to tell. Tell your story.
Yeah. It's not told by you.
Yeah, you tell you and and make whatever genre that is.
Yeah.
Like tell it that way. The only thing that's that you can never choose to make bad audio. So if you're gonna get friends with somebody or like get somebody on board from the local high school or college, whatever, get the sound department.
Yeah, and even the downstream too of the tax credit is there was recently a shoot that came to our 2 shoots I was a part of that came to our state. One was a Bollywood production. And then the other was this horror film, which will be coming out later. But the reason both you had this company from India that came here, and then this out-of-state production was because of tax credits. You have phenomenal crews living in your state and local labor that they will do and choose over.
Yeah. Oh no, there's some very good monetary arguments for it for sure. And like I said, this is more probably the same wine that every low budget filmmaker has made forever. But you just go, look, there's not much of a real industry here yet. If you just throw a little bit of money, or throw a 50th of what you're going to throw around and throw it as some grants to some randos and see what happens, But look,
I know Golan and Globus are like the best references for a lot of different areas, but their mythology of like we shouldn't have all these expenditures that are just fluff. Yeah. Like, let's cut it. Let's break it down to like what is actually needed.
What's needed.
Like, that idea is perfect. And I think that's what could be allocated towards a like $50,000, $100,000 movie coalition, which again, we're in no position right now politically that they're going to just start giving money willy-nilly to the arts. So
not as much this year.
I have
this 90s smooth jazz starts playing. Yes.
I know. I have a very strange philosophy with this indie film stuff. And I know this goes against the model, but I don't give a fuck because I don't like models. I don't like rules. I've never have. When we're making things, I find the talent that isn't getting opportunities to perform. Yeah. Right. And we have a platform for them to possibly shine in something that they won't necessarily ever get. I see a lot of indie filmmakers that raise, $200,000, $300,000 on campaigns, and they go make these movies. They get their B named actor and all this stuff, and most of the money goes to that one person to be in for 2 days or whatever, because
to make it marketable.
Exactly. And I'm thinking to myself, here we are, and we raised $22,000 on a fucking fan film, right? We fed our actors. It's a fan film. It's a nonprofit movie.
Yep.
These guys came guns blazing with passion and have created a movie that I think a lot of people will be surprised when they see it. Like, how the fuck did you guys do that? And I'm like, because we like making movies. That's basically
and
it.
we want to make movies with people who want to make movies.
You changed my opinion, not fully on fan films, but you got me an understanding of if someone came to me and was like, I'm going to give you $22,000 to make, again, like one episode of your Phantasm miniseries. Yes. I would be like, oh, yeah, I know how I'm spending that $20,000.
And then you quietly make the whole film out of it.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you got to take what you have and make it the best with what you got.
Yeah.
And
that's all filmmakers ever. That's
it, right?
They make magic out of that shit.
I don't think it's rocket science. And I know that we all have these dreams and these aspirations to do this stuff. But bottom line, if we didn't make another penny to do what we were doing, we're going to finish our fucking movie. Yeah. And then next year, we're going to try again on the next one. Right. Yeah. And we're going to keep going and going and going and going and going until it works. But
that's Aaron. You are
amazing.
It sounds like you're not you are rarefied air. I can smell the same. I can smell the same carnival barker. I can smell the same. It's not a commonplace, and I'm slowly learning this with people like Amy, with people like Riley, different people, or even Lloyd, where Lloyd loves film. My biggest surprise is that Lloyd never strived to make a good movie, and that's not a burn. That is just, I know that he likes movies. We've talked about his just the library of influences in his head. And I'm just at any point you could have marketed you making a fucking straight, you could have gotten so many favors to make your whatever film noir or your thing that you wanted to do. But man, why didn't you? I've heard recently about other similar indie filmmakers who are their own gatekeepers. I don't understand. You, Aaron, you saying do it and make it. Most people that send you messages on Instagram or whatever, they're like, how do you do it? And you're just go.
You just,
technology's making it real easy right now.
I tell him this literally fucking today. I hung out at his house in the middle of my day job, and told him that. And I'm like, it's funny because I'm more of a technical person. As far as film, I love film, and the thing is though is that kind of talent is a dime a dozen. You're the other two parts of the dozen. It's one of those things where you, the hustler, or as you said, the carnival barker is the best fucking term for it ever. That's actually
you just got a big hat and you're just hey, what kind of story do you want to see? And someone tells you what they want to see, and you're just you spin it to what they want to hear. You're just yeah, we got that. We got sex. We got intrigue. We got murder. Come on.
Okay, guys, go get some intrigue and murder.
Filmmakers, guys, and I think people in general just they give up. They give up. Here's an example, and Riley can attest to this. We're short money to feed people on set. I reach out to Riley. I'm like, hey, Riley, I know you ain't got no more money to help us with this movie this time, but hey, guess what, dude? We got a shoot coming up. Can you pitch us some money to help me feed these fucks? And you know what Riley does? I got $200, dude.
Yeah.
And he sends us $200.
And we had a couple of days like that.
Yeah. Yes.
So we were literally
scraping by, but you know what? It's still possible when you've got, if you've got the audacity to just continue to keep fucking trying. That's all I'm saying. I hate bugging Riley. I hate bugging other people that have given us money, but that is kind of my job, unfortunately, as an indie filmmaker. I have to keep trying. If I quit,
It's one of your many hats.
well, yes, but if I quit on that, I can take no. I usually need 3 no's to quit before I stop asking, but I need a no. Once I stop it, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm like, okay, that's sales. I get it.
Although I will say what kind of thematically, though, I will say between your story and what Ricky was saying, Aaron, is also kind of this Rocky mentality, which you both share and love the franchise enormously, of that punching, and which also ties into Lloyd, because Lloyd did, what was he, production manager, second unit on the first Rocky?
Was he really?
Yeah,
that's great.
He played the bum that gets carried out in the first scene that Rocky goes into the bar, the bearded,
I like it that
red
much more now.
sock
Thank you,
hat
gentlemen.
bum. What his job was, not sure of his credit, was getting around unions while they filmed in Philadelphia.
And then that got him hired to do Saturday Night Fever as a production.
Nice. Yeah.
Similar job, where
Yeah.
he went to New Jersey and got around.
You know what though? I do love, you had said something as far as him like going, I don't know if you ever had the feeling to make a great film, and then you get somebody like Roger Corman, who like another one of the great carnival barkers.
Yeah.
But then he like spends pretty much half of what I'm throwing out a number, I don't fucking know, but there's this great film and I love it. It's called Frankenstein Unbound, and it was him making a $40 million film. Roger Corman making this, and he, I believe, directed it. And it's got Little John from Robin Hood, and I can't remember the name right now, but and like you can like go, this was him deciding I'm gonna shoot my shot, and you're like, you didn't make a great film, buddy. But he fucking did it, and I feel like every single time that Lloyd Kaufman, who I genuinely love, like I got so much, I'm born of trauma. You just go, this guy made so many films, and even if you just put a peek of it in, like Riley did, it's like you're like, look, I supported films when they needed me, and it's like, if that's all you do your whole life is just being the carnival barker, kind of helping out a little bit, like that's how movies get made. It really is. It's the Muppet model, like everybody's like, let's just put some, put a stand up and we'll find an empty area,
This will never get made. Nick Greystone, producer on our films, and Damon Scar, music provider as well. He was just like, he keeps on saying to me that he wants him and I to be in this like Cannonball Run-esque movie where he's my Dom DeLuise and I'm Burt Reynolds, which I find hilarious, being very overweight most of my life until now. But I get to be like a little bit semblance,
get a mustache,
little bit of
nobody
Burt.
will notice. Yeah.
Well, and then I'm going to be working on the Burt Reynolds hairpiece here soon. After. At least a little piece that's like the John Saxon, which if you've never heard that story, when Wes Craven talks about Nightmare on Elm Street, John Saxon came in and he had 3 little wooden boxes.
Oh shit.
And John said to Wes, he's like, I assume this is a detective role that you want me to play in your film. You want me to be the strong detective part? And Wes is like, yeah, have you read the script? He's like, no. He's like, that's just what I'm being called in for nowadays. He's like, I only have one question for you. Would you like small, medium, or large hairpiece? That was like, how much of this bald spot? Like, do you want me to be a young father, a middle-aged father, or not much? Like, stuff like that. John Saxon was a delight. Lloyd, yeah, Lloyd wants to make a good movie, but he is Trauma is what it is because of all the good things about Lloyd and also all of the bad. Like, he is the personification of devil and angel on a shoulder.
Right.
Of just being like, fuck shit up. Like, no.
Well, and that's a great part with like films like Toxic Avenger. And not to make this a Lloyd Kaufman thing, but I got love. But you can just go
same.
Uh-oh, we're losing Steve.
Steve died that day.
Steve died. Terrible. He's gone right now. Sorry, Steve.
I will remember
For you. Oh, there he is. Steve, you back?
Am I back?
You're back, bro. You're back.
Yeah. What I was saying though was that like he went right past good, and he went to great. Like with fucking Toxic Avenger and Sergeant Kabukiman and whatever else. You're like you had that luck as the great sculptor who just happened to make Michelangelo's David because you made enough pieces of art that one of them was going to get love, you know. And there's a couple of ways to end up reaching Valhalla film wise, you know. It's just that was.
I think that the thing that I wanted to just express to everybody one more time, which I've done it numerous times over the past 6 years doing this show, is to just never quit and never stop believing in your dream. And if you have that mentality and you can keep doing it and you keep doing what you're supposed to do. See, a lot of people forget about that part. Like you keep talking, you keep asking, you keep posting, you keep reaching out, you keep networking, you keep making stuff, you keep just going. If you do that, things can happen. And then all of a sudden you start getting this crowd of people that are paying attention to you, right? And what you're making and this work you're doing with all these wonderful people that are helping you do it. And then you put it out there and then they're like, oh shit, this is really cool. And then more come. The biggest thing is that the person that's kind of doing that gets all the attention, right? Yeah. But I didn't do this. You know, there's Rileys all over the place that have helped us make this happen. There's actors that don't get paid that have came to set just trying to be in a piece to get noticed so that maybe one day they have an opportunity in something that will push them forward in their career, right? And I look at that stuff and I'm just like, this is what it's about. Kelvin Galoza right here. He's worked in Hollywood. He's worked on big shit. He knows what the fuck the industry's like on that side and the indie level. Here he is working with us on everything that we do. Why? Well, I can tell you why. He's a fucking down motherfucker. That's why. And he loves what we've been doing. And he's a part of it. He helps us make stuff and makes it better. His input is valid. And everybody's is on set. I don't give a fuck if it was a PA, Steve. How many times has someone said something we listen to him?
Oh, completely. Like, okay, I know you're right.
Yeah, exactly. But we do, you know, and we implement everybody in our projects all the time. It's an important thing, especially when you're not paying somebody. And if you are paying them, I never want to lose that mentality, if that makes sense. I never want to be that guy. Do what I say because I'm paying you. Shut the fuck up. It's my idea. That is so fucking stupid. Yeah. I can't.
You're throwing away a good chunk of what you're paying for.
Because every movie we've made has been a collaboration of everybody. Every time. There's not one time it hasn't happened. Not one. At least for me. And I love that model. And I will stick to that fucking model. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. So that's me.
And I think that
pick it or not, but we'll see.
I think it's important, just to chime in for 2 seconds. I think it's important that if you're someone who has had even the slightest bit of success, take a moment to find someone who hasn't, and even just a tweet, or X, what is that called now? Whatever.
Repost.
You know, even a DM of encouragement of, hey, I like your stuff. Like keep it up.
Keep going.
That can fuel the next big director, producer, actor, composer like myself. You know, it just takes a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes a lot of people are just losing faith on their career because everyone expects Hollywood to be an immediate reaction.
Yeah.
And it really isn't. It just takes a long time and a lot of perseverance to
it takes at
do
least
what
10
you love
years
to do.
to become an overnight success.
Well, I mean, and also like success is managed in such small scales. Like, what are you shooting for? If you're shooting if we're talking about like 7,000, like just like the ubiquitous like $7,000 movie, that could be, you know, 10,000, 15, 8, 6, 5. You know, that's the $7,000 movie. The people who are kindlers, that if you are tenacious with your own idea, people like Riley and Amy are the people who see this thing because it does have I mean, for good and for bad, that is like the reason why it's good to go with Troma. you got eyes. Like Riley saw it and he was just like, oh, it's trauma. What is this? Oh, that sounds interesting. Like, okay. Like, I think this sounds like a good thing. Like, this sounds like a filmmaker I would like to see more, or like to see whatever this vision is.
Yes.
Having that is so, like, if anybody has a religious experience where they feel saved or they feel healed or whatever, as a filmmaker or a creative, that's what that feels like when you see like someone who is just interested in making what you want to do without their input.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Riley was never like, and I think this is what you should do. Like, he started having conversations of just like, well, what do you like? What kind of films are you inspired by? Like, what is this an homage to? Like, you start having a film conversation, because it's great. Because what I feel like Riley's also doing is a shorthand of being like, ooh, what is your potential of where you could become as a filmmaker? Because unless I'm wrong, Riley is just like, for good or for bad, I guess I backed the horse of Ricky. Like,
Yeah.
So I got to see if there is something that evolves or develops in a personal and a business growth of like, okay, if we're given these opportunities, even as independent filmmakers, we shouldn't rest on our laurels of just like, it doesn't cost that much. You should each time, even no matter how much money you're given, try to be like, okay, last time I had $7,000 and I spent it on this. What if I spend it on this next? Like, do the Sam Raimi thing. Sam Raimi's been doing it for years. Every movie's been a fucking experiment.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
like,
why he's still interesting.
Yeah.
that's why,
And
like,
movies
a
are
simple
great.
plan is probably the best executed narrative that he couldn't shoot around or experiment with. He had to actually make a movie with these big actors, which maybe Billy Bob Thornton's bigger acting with Bill Paxton's very grounded in Jane Fonda, Bridget Fonda as Paxton's wife. Sorry, shout out if you've never seen A Simple Plan. This is in Sam Raimi's filmography where he was directing things he didn't write because he was in director's jail for a little bit for wasting money on Quick and the Dead.
I still
Good,
fucking
though.
love it. So
I just summarized Blank Check's whole podcast on the Sam Raimi, which is a fantastic podcast.
oh god, you guys. Okay.
Riley, what does it feel like kind of to be like? I mean, you're the best in what you tend to do, that at least that I'm aware of. You're kind of doing the best part of what a critic could do, which is having your own taste and your own contributions to film. But like, as far as, does that kind of open up where you are, filmically in your heart, or is there something that is that enough for you, like to just kind of go, okay, I'm contributing? And what does it feel like to contribute to other filmmakers being able to do what they do?
So it's funny you mentioned criticism. So I'll start there in that in college for a year, I interned with a film historian at the
I
news.
believe that.
And it's one of those things where I tend to view film, whether it's the moment we're in or not, but through movements in a longer kind of historical bend, if you want to say, right? So whether it's, I don't know,
New Hollywood or
New
whatever.
Hollywood, which I love. I love the 70s and highly recommend. And everyone, Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, about that period. But it is one of those things where when I am looking at various people, and I will not naming names of anyone who may or may not be watching this, but I will occasionally get, whether it's random messages from people I do not know or emails. And first thing off, let me just say this, anyone is trying to pitch anything to anyone who is in a producing position, please at least have a slide deck at the bare minimum, or a teaser trailer made up of other movies to get the idea, because you would be shocked at the amount of people who do not send any of that information when saying, will you please help produce my movie? And I'm like, okay, but there's no deliverables here, so unless you send those. But it is one of those kind of things where, whether I'm looking at Ricky or CCC or kind of the more international front of it has to be not only a filmmaker I believe in, right? Like even Peter Anthony, who we mentioned before, but there has to be also a personality and a taste there, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons I love Ricky, right, is kind of, especially in this moment when studios are starting again to put comedies back in theaters, which over the past 8 years, statistically, I found this out today, the studios only released a maximum of 10 comedies per year in the studio or in theaters compared to every other genre, right? That's
And 2 of those are hangover sequels.
right, exactly. Years, right? Studios have decided to send comedies primarily to streaming, right? And I will say, whether you love it or hate the remake of Naked Gun, is slowly opening that door.
Yeah.
And even Devil Wears Prada 2, which is in production right now in New York,
Mm-hmm.
of comedies coming back into theaters, which is great. Although I will say, in light of Diane Keaton's death, Book Club 1 and 2 are very good. And not just for women who are 60 years and older.
I'm with you.
Complete disagree, but I met Diane Keaton. She was my dad and I, he took me up for a New York trip, and we went and saw Glengarry Glen Ross during the day with Alan Alda, Liev Schreiber, an amazing cast, Tom Wopat, Jeffrey Tambor, a fantastic cast. While walking from that show, we saw Denzel Washington and Julius Caesar. That night, we saw Glass Menagerie with Jessica Lange, young Sarah Paulson, who hadn't popped yet. Coming to Christian Slater, also in Glass Menagerie, was fantastic. Coming to see her friend Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson at the stage door where my dad and I from Northern Kentucky were standing was Diane Keaton, looking exactly like Diane Keaton, just like that. And like Annie Hall, just Diane, like there's Diane Keaton. She's beautiful. Like she's so just her.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way she talked to us, she's like, do you gentlemen mind like waiting with me while like my car comes around, like for my friends and blah,
Not
blah,
so
blah.
much.
And like
Yeah.
introduced us to Sarah Paulson. And I was already in love with Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. So I was sold. But I was just like, oh my God, we just got the most like Diane Keaton experience. And she was one of the most beautiful people that I ever met. Like just effervescent of just an aura. And I was just like, yes, this is why you are so goddamn charismatic on film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like on celluloid, that you are just so, I don't even know what it is. There are some people that have it that aren't the best actors. And there are some people that have it that are both, that are just entertainers and fantastic actors. So that's my Diane Keaton. R.I.P. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, romancing the or not romancing the stone, the Family Stone. What is
Oh, yeah.
We shot it in Connecticut. But...
I hate that movie. My friend Eric Hunter, co-writer, loves it. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's like Home for the Holidays is so much a better version, like a darker version of that movie. Like
I love Ricky. He don't give a fuck. I love him to death. He don't give a shit.
I know, and I know.
I love it.
Hunter loves this. God, it's directed by Reiner.
And So It Goes.
No, it's Luke Wilson and
Luke Wilson.
God.
Film?
He
I don't know
plays
that.
an author, and he writes himself into his novel, and it's co-starring Almost Famous. I'm blanking on her name.
God, I can't help
Kate
it.
Hudson. Kate Hudson.
Oh, Hudson. Okay, got
It's
it.
Luke Wilson and Kate Hudson.
Okay.
Luke Wilson
One of
in
many
present
films that I'm
day
going to have to look up today.
Is
Thanks, guys.
Rob Reiner is the director of this rom-com. This is a straight to video rom-com, by the way, in like the early 2000s. Eric Hunter loves this fucking movie.
Okay.
And it has the pedigree. It's like Rob Reiner directing. Luke Wilson is this author in New York. He just went through a divorce. He has to write a new romance novel because he's a romance novelist. And so he uses his real story, but he keeps on putting himself into the story. And he just met Kate Hudson on the street, and she's like flighty or whatever. So he puts them in a bunch of romance novel tropes. Like
Alex
conceptually, it's
and Emma.
Alex and Emma.
Good job, Steve.
Yep. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Eric Hunter loves that movie. And I think it's because it's the promise of the movie. Conceptually and like heart and humor, there's a lot of good stuff there. Like I think Family Stone, there's a lot of things that's like, yeah, this is familiar, but it almost feels like AI generated. Like some of those like not Die Hard movies, or which also then becomes Die Hard 5 when they're in Russia, which is the only original Die Hard movie. Like that's the worst one, and it's the only original one. Like I hate that Willis went out like that, but
yeah.
And then there's the Frank Sinatra one in the beginning.
Yes,
the detective. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, Riley, this is why I love you. Have you ever read Frank Sinatra's letter turning down the role of Dirty Harry to Don Siegel?
No.
Oh, it's in one of the Dirty Harry box sets that you get this facsimile of this handwritten letter from Frank Sinatra that says, because they contractually had to offer him Dirty Harry because of something similar with the detective.
Yeah.
And he was just like, this is not my generation. Like, whoever you would offer this to. I think he even name drops like Clint Eastwood. Like, if this went to someone like Clint Eastwood, that's the next version of me as this role in cinema. And he's like, thank you for the acknowledgement, or blah, blah, blah. Frank Sinatra. Like, Frank Sinatra, classic douchebag. Like a lot of people at that time. But like stuff like that is fun.
We
like,
had more fun. Let's
So good. Wow.
There was a level of like pomp and circumstance that is fun to like look back on. There's a lot of also other bad, like terrible stuff that's just like, oh.
I feel you. Wow. Guys, we want to really talk about your fucking movies really very much.
Yeah.
It's been
I love being so cinema based though. Today.
No, it's fun, but here's the cool thing.
Geeky, and I love it.
We get to know these guys, and the audience gets to know them, and they know they're out there. They know they're making stuff. So take a couple minutes here. Ricky, Riley, whoever wants to speak, talk about Sweet Meats, where people can find this, what's the plan with it, and also your crowdfunding you got right now for your other film, Casually Cool.
So
Please.
Sweet Meats will be on Troma now in Thanksgiving, and then Blu-ray release we will find out at some point from Troma. But then also our two films, Casually Cool, which starts production in December, which is a Rockford Files, Miami Vice by way of Cincinnati.
It sounds like such a slam.
Yes.
I swear it's not. It is our version of the love letter. So like Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was his idolization love letter to 1968 Hollywood. I'm just like, well, you know what? Like, I want to do that too, but like, I'm pretty fond of like what our backyard looks like right now. Couldn't we also treat that in the same like way, like nostalgically and like fondness with what we have currently? Because it's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's exactly what Riley is saying.
Also,
we don't have Hawaii for like Magnum PI.
Right.
We have Cincinnati. We have Northern Kentucky. We have Newport, Kentucky.
Right. And it's also being produced by former Saturday Night Live cast member Gary Kroger, also, who was on during the Eddie Murphy Working Short years.
Nice. Nice.
And so we have that, and then Truly, which everyone can find out more info on Indiegogo, but which is essentially, I like to say, Kimmy Schmidt by way of John Hughes, as we kind of talked about with the Death Cult stuff, and a little bit Friday Night Lights, Varsity Blues in there too.
Varsity Blues.
Yes, very good movie. Maybe John Voight should have stopped there. But
Good call, Riley.
In Megalopolis, I will say that. But yes, you can find it on
even a Megalopolis drop.
Yeah,
the love of the film brats.
I still haven't
70s.
seen that.
I want to do. I have to.
I know, and he'll only show it in the fucking theaters, and I'm like, bring it back around. I'll do it.
It'll be out. I'll sit through it. Continue, Riley. Sorry.
Although there is also a doc coming out about the making of Megalopolis.
I know. I'm just as looking forward to that as anything else. Like
because they're looking for the new Heart of Darkness.
Right.
Yes. They're just like trying to speed like forward. Right. They're just like, what? We know that was fucked up. Like that's why they're leaking that stuff about Shia LaBeouf on set. where he's just like, no, he's like, let me try this thing. He's like, you can try it, but like, I think you should stick to the story. Like, there's just no direction. It is.
Yeah.
Adam Driver had to be a dream because I'm sure
he's a great actor.
He's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a Broadway actor, which is always great, as we've kind of with Ricky's background in theater. Lots
theater
of
actors
in our films are theater actors. And so there's really this great, I mean, we even have a table read tomorrow night for Casually Cool, but it is, and you can find both the films that we're talking about, and hopefully we get Truly Made with 40,000, but since the campaign is kind of in demand, right? On page, we'll be constantly fundraising for that, and you can also find Ricky and I on any social media platform in existence, except I am not on TikTok or Snapchat because I missed that generation by like 10 years.
Yep. Great.
I'm with you.
Yes.
Me too. Beautiful thing, Riley. Ricky?
Yeah.
No, I mean, yes. We
You're
are easily found. Everything that Riley said. Yes, just check us out. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being on. For real.
Thank you for having us. And everyone listening, please support your independent filmmakers, or find your independent filmmakers, support your independent cinemas, and support any way film gets made.
Can I ask you three the question that I can't answer because I don't know what it is, but it'd be interesting to hear what your viewpoints are. Is I do think we're on the cusp of the next wave of indie movies.
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to be seen. Do you all have an idea of what that landscape looks like? Is it universal, or is it individual, like boutique road shows with the cast, with the creatives, and it's something a little bit more personal, which that's kind of going off like the Kevin Smith model. What do you think that's what's going to be happening? And if so, how do you think people are getting the eyes and the ears on the projects?
Let's make Kelvin talk first.
Kelvin, you go first.
Well, I do have to say that unfortunately, the vertical era is here to stay. And it's really sad because you lose so much when you do anything vertical. But having very young godchildren and nieces, if we're really talking about, I do agree with you 100% that a new wave of filmmaking is coming. Especially, I don't know if you guys saw the commercial that Matthew McConaughey and other people did about bringing Hollywood to Texas.
Yeah.
They were very bold about it. And, you know, everyone's leaving this Hollywood. I'm from LA. I live in Los Angeles right now. And even we see it here. So going back to the question, the eyeballs, I do think it's going to be a very boutique thing. It's going to be very customized. You're going to be able to watch what you want when you want it. And it's going to be, are you going to go for this crowd? This crowd is always going to support you, but don't maybe expect this crowd to follow you here. And I can see it watching my niece and my godson, and I can see them and their attention span and where it goes. And it's very boutique. And they'll open one app, and that app is the app that they consume all of their content from. And I bring in a different app to them, and it's like, this is a little sketchy. I don't see this name.
Or
I don't see this
one time, and then
I don't see this logo, or so I think it's the time to start developing that boutique audience that can follow you for a very long time.
All right. Steve.
All right. I'll give mine. I have a feeling it's going to be, and I don't know if it'll literally be Tubi, for example, but I think it'll be YouTube. I think it'll be because I mean, economically, we're just all not doing fantastically. So I think it's probably going to be nearly free service, and what is it, AVOD, or where they're TVOD, whatever, where you're pretty much ad supported. And then I think that there will be certain films that reach out of that. and it'll be less and less. And I hope that they're lower budget filmmakers. Honestly, I think, you've kind of seen, as we all have with the entire fucking community of the world, where you just see, this strata of incredibly well funded films kind of stretching away and away and away, and they become $350 million films. And then you see the movies that are now being made for essentially a lunch. And I think it's going to be more of that. And I think it'll be, you'll be hoping that you can reach 30,000 people, that, the average filmmaker, 30,000 people maybe, that, actually dig and check out your shit. And
I haven't found a way to do
your
it.
next film when you put it in a boutique in a theater, like the Roadshow model. But I think it'll end up being kind of dragging on past a marketing campaign for your last film, or it'll be like a show of something that's already out everywhere. I think in the next couple of years, it'll be like, okay, we know you can have people show up. We'll put you in a theater, but otherwise you're not going to make dick. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
All right.
I was gonna say I haven't found a way to eloquently panhandle like the next Mission Impossible movie. Be like, hey brother, can you spare like $40,000? Like
one day of craft services, or maybe your cleanup crew.
Right.
David Ellison, we're here. Take it.
Yeah.
For just $10,000 a minute on a Tom Cruise movie, you could make 15 Ricky Glore movies. I mean, not that you want to, but like
one of them might be successful. Yeah.
You know.
What do
what
you
you
think, Aaron? Like, I mean, you're in the game of like, you know what you're doing, you know what you're trying to do to get eyes and ears.
I'm like Indiana Jones. I'm like Indiana Jones, dude. I make the shit up as no idea. But I can tell you, I follow my instincts. I follow my gut. I don't look too deep into all the market stuff. I know what level I'm on, and I know what I'm trying to do with the communities around me. So I focus on them. And how do I put my best self in front of them to show off what all these people that are behind me doing? Kevin Smith kind of did that. You know what I mean? He built that kind of thing in the 90s. I think, honestly, it depends on who you are and what you want to do. Just like, what kind of movie do you want to make? What kind of movie do you want to write? How do you want to present your work and yourself to this planet? How do you want to do that? I think if you mean it, it can happen. And I don't know if that's like cheesy or silly or stupid, but I've seen so many things work for certain people that don't work for others. And that tells me that it's because they are doing their thing, right?
Yeah, you're the only person that's going to stand in your way. Like, if you have a story to tell, like if you're like, oh, we have a story to tell, but it's gonna cost $1.5 million. It's like, no, you don't have a story. You like have an issue. Like,
I think if you want to,
and whatever, like, tell it for $10. I mean, the Duplass like thing where like,
yes,
where they went and got a DV tape and they had a dead pixel. Like, I always, if anybody's like, what is your advice? I'm like, okay, Don Coscarelli, who Rebel Without a Crew, Rodriguez. Kevin Smith's story, Don Coscarelli, True Andy, or whatever, his book, I can't think of it. I think it's True Andy. But then, like, the Duplass, South by Southwest, just watch that. So that is going to be like, if while you're watching it, if you go, oh, I think the same way, then great, you're on the right path. Listen to this and then do it. But if you're thinking, I'm not that, here's my advice. If you aren't going, oh, I don't have the tenacity or whatever that is, not in a pejorative, a good or a bad sense. If you just aren't jiving with the vernacular, go, okay, but maybe I'm a supporter. Maybe I need someone with a drive, and maybe that's who I am. Maybe that's how I feel. That's the cog I am in this Jetson machine or whatever.
That's the thinking process. That's the creative part behind the scenes. I think that a lot of filmmakers forget about. They go and they focus on their movie, they try to get their movie made, but they forget about all the other stuff you've got to do. And I think that's the key, finding your road, your path, your thing. If it is going on a road show, fucking do it. Who why not? Like, who's telling you can't do it? If you
make
do
sure
it,
you love it enough to do it for free.
Yeah,
Rudy. I mean, the Rudy Ray Moore story with Eddie Murphy.
Yes,
that
Oh, I
it
love
told
it.
was the idea that it forewalled a movie to an area, to a culture that
Yes.
wasn't getting talked to.
Yes.
The Super Troopers guys, Broken Lizard, like what they did with Puddle Cruiser, and then even eventually with 20th Century Fox with Danny DeVito and his production company. Like they went to a market because of these comedy movies, like Riley was talking about. Yes, I have found a new appreciation for the Lonely Island via the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast. I forgot that was my era of SNL that I really fucking loved. That cast and what they were doing. Akiva Schaffer coming back with Naked Gun. I got some qualms, but on all counts, it's a good return to comedy. And yeah, I would love to see, I don't know who the new voices are, but whenever I would see a David Wayne directed rom-com or comedy or Showalter written or whatever, I'd just be like, take my money. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's mine. And I think we all could be right. I have no idea. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
And as I say to Ricky all the time when we're getting frantic texts or whatever, will this or won't this work? I always say, just take a meditate on it. It will all be fine. We have this.
You're like what my therapist would say.
Yes, as I love my very Jewish therapist. Highly recommend her. It's like a Curb episode every week. But it is one of those, just take the deep breath and meditate.
Yeah.
Look, I'm starting to breathe. We're right? Getting the reason why we pitched this. We're going to make 2 movies in 1 year. The pitch with NKY Films. We're going to make 2 movies based off these budgets. How we made our first 2 movies, and if we get X amount of dollars, $7,000, we can make Casually Cool. We can make that movie. We have outside investors as well. We can make that a decent movie. But what we're trying to do is this gimmick of 2 movies in 1 year, where the next movie is 4 times that budget. Yeah. So what we're hoping is Gary Kroger, who came on board for Casually Cool as an executive producer, was literally an olive branch, or was he read Truly Trudy, and I was just I think you would be great as this dual cast of this cult, this Jim Jones cult leader / this Mr. Belding principal. And I was like, I actually think you would be really good. And he read it. He listened to the table read. He listened to the music. And he was just like, I think this is great. Whatever I can do to help you get the budget, use my name. And we were like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. And he was aware of all of it, but that's the dream is we have till July 2026 to film Truly Trudy, because the high school we have an agreement with, Bellevue High School. They're like, if you can film in the last 2 weeks, you have carte blanche of this high school, and it's beautiful. It's right around the corner for me. But we have till now, using Casually Cool, the movie we're going to make, to prove that we can walk the walk and talk the talk. That's what I think this first movie is to send to people who might be like, oh, okay, what do you guys want to do? You want to do this? Why do you guys need 40,000? Because then we're going to show them stuff for Casually Cool, and they're going to be like, okay, now I see what you mean. You have a full-blown musical number in Casually Cool. Most of Truly Trudy is a full-blown musical number. So that's why you need 40,000, because you can only do one of those for 7,000. I know that's not how money works with movies,
right?
But that's almost people have no idea how much things cost, and people are also like, that's the most money ever. And I'm like, I couldn't agree more.
Right.
No one's ever asked for $50,000 for a movie. I'm ludicrous to do this as well.
And then to Ricky, sometimes I'm like, let's have 3 different budgeted plans for this movie.
That's not 3 different budgets
for
one movie.
Yeah.
That's 3 different movies, though, in my mind. I'm never going to be out of $10,000 movies.
I don't blame you there. I think the more movies you make, the better on this level. I don't put all my eggs in one basket either, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah. You never know what could hit. That little $10,000 movie could make you $100,000 one day, real quick. And you're like,
and who cares? Because you're not doing it for the success. You're doing it because you got the story to tell, and And you know how to make it happen without burning bridges or destroying lives.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Absolutely, and that's the key. I couldn't agree more. Ricky, Riley, you guys rock, man. You guys
Thank
rock.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on the show and speaking to us for almost 2 hours, dude. This is the longest show back.
Yeah.
Right? It was good.
And thank you also to Focus, to Jordan, to Chris, and Val. It's good to hear from you too. And Amanda, you've been jamming all night, and it's good.
Yeah, she's been chilling with us this whole time. Yeah, we've got a lot of people in here today, and we'll get a lot more views. So this stuff is live every Wednesday, everybody. Around the Reel is back. You can engage with us if you'd like. If not, you can always watch us on YouTube after the fact, Facebook after the fact, and or by that end of the week, it will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else you can find your podcasts.
And on YouTube, we also have all kinds of other crazy shit that we do.
Yeah,
so please check us out.
We got all kinds of stuff. Yeah. We got a lot of sweet meat out there, Steve. You know what I mean? Riley, Ricky, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Get that shit done. All right, fellas.
We're gonna make 1 out of 2. Like
you'll get them done.
Yeah,
you'll get them done. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. Thank you so much. Take care. Great show, you guys. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
That was
all right. Next week we'll be back. Kelvin.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
Yeah. That was fun. That was fun. I haven't been on a show in a while where we're talking about movies.
Yeah, I love it.
And stuff. It felt.
Please, any guests from here on, please just chat movies.
Just talk movies all the time, right? All right. What are you guys gonna do now? I'm gonna go. I gotta eat. I got pizza.
I'm gonna go find the tampons for some more wisdom. Yeah.
Don't forget those for next week.
No,
for sure.
That or a fortune cookie. Same idea.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Love you guys. Good show.
Man.
Yep.
Everybody out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let's get these class 2 compliments up here. Amanda, thank you so much.
Love you too, Amanda.
Oh, I see my friend Santini right there throwing the Puerto Rican flag. What's up, dude?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Look at that. Puerto Rican.
Oh. Thank you for watching that this time over there.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's badass. Everybody, thank you so much for supporting Around the Reel, CCC, and all these indie artists out there. We love you all. So talk to you guys next week.
Peace, love, and soul.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. We'll see everybody later.
Bye.